Welcome, maker, to my channel. Thank you for joining me today for another Mixed Media Frenzy YouTube hop. The last Friday of the month, the Mixed Media Frenzy YouTube group on Facebook does post an inspiration photo, and then we just make a page based on that inspiration. So here's inspiration. I drew a circle with my top of a Tupperware lid, and I have some text that I'm adding because even though it's hard to tell from the inspiration photo there is some text in the background. I used a blue archival ink from Reinker in the letter it system, and it is perfect for this. You have to heat set it if you're going to be adding any sort of wet media over it, but once you heat set it, it works perfectly. Now I'm just smushing some evergreen bough and salvage patina here in a minute on a piece of just plain old plastic packaging. And I always forget how to do this. You actually just need to smush it, but I feel like I need to brush it for some reason. And if you can tell in the photo, it is darker on the bottom. So I'm doing my green on the bottom, and then I'm going to go back and do some smushing because that's super fun. You just get it wet and then you smush it down there. And then I'm going to go back and add in the salvage patina after I erase the circles, because for some reason I decided I didn't like having that circle up there and it was still showing underneath the green. And knowing that the blue was going to be lighter, I wanted to erase it. Also, I'm using oxide, which does react differently to the water than just plain distress. So that is important to remember. I'm just kind of smearing it on there with my brush, and then in a minute here, I'm going to smush it because, like I said, I always forget that it makes such a cool, better look when you smush than when you just try to slather it on there with a brush. So smush, smush, smush. We're going to see this a lot. So here it goes. At this point, I decided that I wanted to have a little bit darker ink in there, so I did grab my, I think that is evergreen bough. This is actually the distress ink, so again, it's not going to react to the same to water and give you a lighter look. It's going to be a little more saturated. And I tried to go around the line and decided to go back to my smushing technique. Again, it was just, I like the splatter look so much better than trying to cover it with my brush. Now I'm actually using Rustic Wilderness because it's just so fun to layer all those different green colors. This is the Distress Reinker, so it's even more saturated than just the normal ink from the ink pad that you would get. A lot of people use it as a liquid watercolor. So I just put some of that on there on my plastic and then added a little bit of water to dilute it just a little bit before I slathered it on there again. Now I go in and I spend a lot of time drying, but I cut all that out so that you don't have to watch it. So dry, dry, dry until it's all nice and dried before I go in to add my stars, which are in the background. I chose to use some Gina K, some sort of glitter gel stuff that they sent me. It's kind of a white. It kind of reminded me of snow, which is so funny. We don't have snow in Texas or down here really that much, but I just decided to put it on there. It gives a little bit of texture, gives a little bit of sparkle when you're looking at it really close. Just kind of randomly throwing some stenciled stars on there with that Tim Holtz stencil. And then I got my Prima icing paste, which I absolutely love. I think this one's called Vintage Gold, and another star stencil, and just started putting in some other random stars. The icing paste is a lot smoother than probably normal molding paste or modeling paste, but it's nice because it's already tinted and colored in this vintage gold color. So it looks really pretty, sparkly, adds a little bit more look. I was kind of trying to mimic where what's in the inspiration. It was actually like chipboard or some sort of cut file ephemera on there, and I just thought I'd try to do it with texture paste because I didn't have any sort of cut anything or chipboard. So I have to let that dry, and it's going to take a long time, and then we'll come back. And I've layered my photo on some red with a little bit of gold foil. Took me a while to figure that one out. And now I'm adding in some white circle with my white Stabilo. No, what is that called? It's called a Uniball stylo or something like that. Pen, white pen, and some little stars. Along the edge, you'll see, I don't know that you'll see it, but in the inspiration there was some detail on that circle around the edge there. Then I go back in with this Bow Bunny pearlescent paint, and I really should have drawn my circle again, but you know, hindsight's 20/20, whatever. And that gives it a little bit of sparkle and shine. And then okay, so now I'm gonna glue down my photo. I thought you guys might love to see me actually glue down the photo. This is the iCraft Mixed Media glue. I just put it in a fine line little precision bottle. So here I added some ThermoWeb Decofoil Duo Gel. This is just gel that you can apply once it dries. You can apply foil to it. Now you're supposed to use it with the laminator or run it through an embossing machine, but I didn't do that. I had a rolling pin to apply it, and it worked out pretty well. You'll see it in the close-ups here in a few minutes, but you do have to let it dry for a really long time. So thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that you enjoyed this little glimpse into how I made this page. Last little thing I wanted to share is this 6x8 album page. I did the same foil technique on the background, but I was able to run it through my laminator. And I had so much fun doing the first one that I decided to do it again on a 6x8 size for my Documenting December daily project. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Please like and subscribe.